Right, well, hello, it's Andrew from the Adrocks channel here on this lovely Saturday evening. I'm currently on holiday down in Dorset at the minute, and as you can hear them crashing waves in the background, can't you? It's definitely the highlight of my day, that's for sure. But I'll see if I can just show you there. Look at that, right by the sea. Absolutely lovely, isn't it? Absolutely lovely. But yeah, so it was the opener to the SPFL season today. Half 12 kickoff at Tynecastle. I predicted Rangers would win 2-0. Yeah, there we go. It shows you what shows you all about my predictions, doesn't it? But yeah, I put a poll out on Twitter this morning. 80% of you thought the Rangers would win. I think it was around 30%. Sorry, no, that would not make any sense. It was around 20% that would said that Hearts would win, and I think it was 5% for Sevco, and the rest on a draw. So, yeah, I think we all thought, despite how pre-season went, I think we all thought that we would get the win. So, yeah, Hearts didn't look too good pre-season either. But the first half, that was a terrible game of football, wasn't it? It really was. There's not much you can say about that first half. Hearts had the better of the chances. 12 minutes in, Shankland had that deflected chance that went just wide. That was actually quite unfortunate for him. We saw Ben Davies make a couple of bad errors in that first half. 16 minutes in, Davies makes a mistake with a header, and then Vargas latches onto it. 24 minutes in, Davies misses another crucial last man kind of style defensive header. Yeah, he didn't have a great day, did he? Which is why he was subbed off in the second half. But yeah, 30 minutes in, there was the Yandanda handball. The Yandanda ball into the box, which came off Connor Barron. I'll be honest with you, first look at that, I thought penalty. For me, that's a penalty. Normally when you have that gut instinct, when you see the first replay, you think penalty, but I have heard the rules have changed in regards to handball. Yeah, they seem to change every season, don't they? We need consistency. So already controversial decision in a sense. For me, I think we got away with one there. I think that was a penalty for me personally, but you know what, let me know what you think. The arm is away from the body slightly. He's got it up in for me it's an unnatural position, but some might argue that he's protecting his face. I don't see that personally. There was a harsh challenge from Devlin on right. I think it was about 32 minutes in. There was a yellow card dished out for that, the first of the game. We finally get a chance. We had barely anything in that first half, and we finally get a chance. Dessers with a shot straight at the keeper. Xander Clark didn't have the busiest day, and I've got to be honest. Xander Clark, when I've seen him at St Johnstone and when I've seen him early on for Hearts, I didn't really rate him as a keeper, but he's definitely grown into that role there at Hearts. He's definitely Hearts number one now, I do have to say. There was also another Dessers chance. Now we'll obviously come on to Dessers a lot more, I think, over the next few weeks. He is Marmite, whether you love him or hate him. He has that kind of chance today where he kind of chips the ball over the keeper and it just goes over the goal and out into the stand. Now, it was obviously a day we weren't going to create too many chances, but we need a striker that scores those. Yeah. You know, when we all saw that team sheet come out, you know, only one starter who was a new addition to the team, and that was Connor Barron. The rest were players from last season. I know obviously he maybe doesn't want to throw Proper straight in. You know, he's only been in the country probably a few days. Obviously, Czerny came on in the second half, and I have to say he did look sharp at times with a couple of overlapping runs, but so that was a positive at least. Worryingly, and now I haven't seen the post-match press conference. I'm down in Dorset on holiday at the minute. I went to a pub called the White Horse to watch the game, so big up the guys in the White Horse. They're very kind enough to put the game on their massive screens, so that was good to see. But second half, Cortez went down and it looked like it was his left ankle. I didn't get to see the replay. Obviously he was subbed, Matondo came on. Yeah, is this going to be the case for Cortez? Now obviously he can't help that, but you know, we've barely seen him in a Rangers shirt. This is his first competitive game back since his injury, and that's him subbed off. He had some little bright flashes at times, but yeah, no, he wasn't outstanding today by any stretch of the imagination, was he? Not long after Matondo came on, he tried the spectacular, tried to emulate his own from goal, didn't he? Blutered it into the stand from about 30 yards, high and wide. Then we had a chance. Dessers smashes the crossbar with a header. Now, I've said this on a few pods. I was on the Fourth Officials pod, their preview pod in the week, and I said, you know what, if Dessers has got a header, he's more likely to score it because he doesn't have to think about it. He just has to use his natural instinct. I think when it comes to other things with Dessers, he can be a good striker, but his indecisiveness is a bit of an issue. Gets in the right positions and everything. I can't fault him on that. I can't fault his work ethic. I can't fault his personality either. I think he's good. I think, you know, it's good to see that he wants to stay at Rangers as well. I think that's a bit of a positive. But reality is, I don't think we can rely on him for the whole season. I really don't. Obviously in the first half, I did forget to mention Hearts did hit the crossbar as well. There was a wee bit of pepper in the goal. They definitely were the better team in the first half. Second half we looked a bit better, I do have to say. We still had issues defensively, but really they didn't trouble us as much in the second half. Now, at the Union Berlin game, it did look like our middle to front was looking quite strong, and you could see little blips of it today where, you know, we'd move the ball around well, but my goodness, how many times did we give the ball away under no pressure? How many times did we do that? That was so frustrating. You know, Tav looked well off it, and this is the thing with Tav at the minute. He's going to get severe scrutiny. He gets severe scrutiny as it is, but now it's going to be tenfold. There was a few times, about 3 occasions, where he'd done the hard bit, just had to play a great through ball. There was one he had to just play a great through ball at Dessers, and he was in, and he plays it too short. There was one where he gives the ball away completely. Again, short pass. We're just sick of that. Just absolutely sick of that. Now, we had 3 corner kicks, I think around 52 minutes in, and we kept aiming for that near post. Now, I don't know exactly what we were doing, but Hearts sussed it out after the first one, and it just seemed a bit pointless, really. A little bit of miscommunication with Butland in the defence a couple of times. I think 54 minutes in we saw Butland and Suter getting a bit of a tiz, and then the ball was breaking everywhere. We saw that a little bit later on as well. I think who was it? It was a bit of a defensive mess. I think it was Balogun, wasn't it? Butland goes to claim the ball. Balogun heads it onto Butland. Everyone gets in the way. It's a mess. The ball breaks to Hearts. They nearly score, but it's blocked. That's a frustrating one. That really was. I have to say, Lawrence Shankland was kept fairly quiet. There was a couple of times Shankland had a shot in the first half, I think, that managed to squirm under Butland, but it was squirming luckily wide, but then Butland managed to keep it in at least, so there wasn't the corner given away. It's rinse and repeat, isn't it? We're just seeing the same issues time after time. You know, we started last season with a loss at Kilmarnock, and I had a feeling last year. I went on SM Media's Rangers assessment pod, and you could see that we just weren't looking right. There was no clear vision that you can see as a fan of what was happening with the team. Now, worryingly today, it felt a bit the same. We were a bit of a mess. You know, we just announced that Philippe Clement has had his contract extended for another year to 2028 on the eve of the season starting, and then we see this performance today. Now, I have faith in Philippe Clement. I think that he does want to build a team. He's here for the project. He's here for building a successful team, and we do need to give him time. It was just a mess. And it could be it's just the personnel are just incapable, because we've got to be honest, a lot of these players were bit part players, weren't they? You know, they were players that were not all necessarily starting games, but they've had to last season, because we can't have more than 13 players on the injury bench, can we? Down in the injury room. But yeah, Shankland had a lot of shot later on. It was headed over by Balogun, luckily. I think that was a good bit of defensive. There was a few times in defence I noticed when there were shots coming in, we were throwing bodies in the way and clearing it, which was good to see. That was good to see, but yeah, and that was that. Coming into the last minutes, we peppered the goal. Something we've always done when we're not having a good game, and then when the clock's running down, we start peppering the goal. But did we really have a real gilt-edged chance later on in the game? I don't think so. I think we're lucky to get away with the penalty shout. I think Hearts were unlucky not to take the lead in the first half. And I think we were unlucky when we hit the bar with Dessler's header, but we've had this full first pre-season now under Clement where fitness has been a big focus. Do these players look any fitter? Honestly, do they look any fitter? Does this team look any fit to you? Because they're not to me. And you know what? Are we seeing coaching issues? Because there's something not right with the structure. There's something not right with the way we are pressing. Obviously, we have an issue with the defence. That's clear. But teams are just running through the midfield. Hearts looked better on the ball today, with the ball at their feet and playing it forward. And teams are just able to overrun. And that was something we saw when Hearts were coming forward a few times. And we don't help ourselves when we try and clear a ball with a simple pass and then we just give it away again. Yeah. Another thing I did notice from that game was obviously Hearts have got the new William Hill Scottish Premiership badge on their top, on their sleeve. But we've still got the generic SPFL unsponsored one. Now, the reason last year and the year before we didn't have cinch on our sleeve patch was because of the issue with us already having a pre-contract with Parks of Hamilton, of course, being a club sponsor, and that looked to be, you know, a conflict of interest, so to speak. And you know, obviously the league is supposed to consult clubs beforehand when they're bringing in a sponsor to make sure there's going to be no clash, and if there is, they'll sort out a deal, yada yada yada. Now, obviously William Hill aren't going to clash with Parks of Hamilton, but obviously William Hill is a betting brand. Obviously we've got a betting sponsor on our top with Unibet and of course 32 Red, which are part of the same company. I'm thinking, could it be that? But even then, surely we're not going into another season where a main sponsor can't put their name on a sleeve badge on our top and we can't have the branding at the stadium. Surely not. You never know, it could be something simple like we've just not had the delivery of the new patches yet. It would not surprise me. But it is strange, and I've not seen really anything about it online, and if there has been another issue, then it's a frustrating one if it is. And I don't know, it's something minor, but our league tends to be, you know, looked upon as a bit of a Mickey Mouse league, especially when you've got the Premiership next door, and when you've got sponsors trying to make multi-million pound deals. I say multi-million pound deals, you know, they just barely scrape a couple of million sometimes, but you know, you've got one of the biggest clubs in Scotland not able to put the badge on the sleeve. That's a strange one. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Now, this is obviously going out on TikTok, the video version. I'll try and get it up on YouTube as well if I can. But I will put this out on the audio podcast feeds. Just search if you've not heard the audio podcast. It's the new Ibrox Channel podcast. Just search that in your podcast store, and and you'll find the pod there. Because unfortunately, the original podcast link, which was the Ibrox Channel, doesn't work anymore. Unfortunately, Ross dealt with all that, and I can't get into the upload account for that. So sadly, it's gone now. But yeah, positives from today. There's not many, is there? There's not many. We've got a crucial Champions League qualifier in a few days in Poland with Dynamo Kiev, and they'll be rubbing their hands together. And you can understand it. I'll do a wee preview looking at that, hopefully over the next few days. As I say, I'm on holiday at the minute. As you can hear the seagulls that's a big seagull. I hope he doesn't come after me. But don't worry, mate. I've got no chips. But yeah, I'll try and get a preview pod out for that. But you know what? I thought it'd be just nice to just sit down at the beachfront, have the nice sounds in the background. It's been a frustrating day, so a wee bit of ocean sounds, a wee bit of ASMR I thought would help calm the nerves, the frustration more than anything. But yeah, so that's that. Let us know your thoughts. Just pop a comment on TikTok or on, if you're on YouTube, or even on X at the Ibrox channel. But oh well, Rangers are back and they're ruining our weekends. Do you know what? They always generally ruin my holiday. Always generally go away to Dorset first week of August, and they always have either the first league game or the second league game, and of course the Champions League qualifier in between. And generally speaking, at least one of those puts me in a bad mood. So oh well, they've done it early today. Hopefully Tuesday goes a bit more to plan. We need to back the team, we do, but we just need to see what we can do. Hopefully we can do something. Anyway, I've been Andrew. This is the Ibrox channel. As I say, search the Ibrox channel podcast. Got a website as well, ibroxchannel.com, and find us in your podcast stores, the new Ibrox channel podcast. Take care, guys. Hopefully weekend gets better.